This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, Welcome to DBL. It's Friday, November 6th. I'm Jeff here with my friends Stephanie and Al. How you guys feeling?
Fabulous.
Yeah, happy Friday.
Yeah, man, happy Friday.
Do it. I just decided on barbecue, so we can only go up from here. It's going to be a great day.
Me too. All right, let's get started because we got the latest. Johnny Depp has been forced to quit a movie after being labeled a wife beater by a London court. This is all Stephanie's fault. This week, Johnny lost his $6 million libel suit against a British tabloid that claimed he beat his then wife, Amber Heard. Johnny was planning on reprising his role as Grindelwald.
Yeah.
All right. In the Fantastic Beasts series. Is that right?
No,
Beasts.
it's a Fantastic Beasts.
It says Beats in there. That's not my problem. But Warner Brothers asked him to quit. In a statement posted on Instagram, the actor said he intends to prove that the allegations against him are false, adding, quote, "My life and my career will not be defined by this moment in time."
He's wrong about that. It will, Jeff.
There you go, Al.
It will, because we are now at a point in time where, and Steph, correct me if I'm wrong, they said a London court, did they convict him of hitting her? Or said that he wasn't?
He lost the battle, his libel battle. He lost his claim against a very famous newspaper. He tried to, he said basically they were causing slander against his name, but they're saying that he has hit Amber. So the court have said that he did hit Amber.
The court said he hit her. They've determined that?
Is what, sorry, darling?
They determined that, like, so he'll face, like, some kind of criminal?
I don't know.
Or they just said he hit her? Jeff, you're shaking your head.
He's always maintained his innocence, but I don't know, maybe the booth could help us out. Was he liable? Not in criminal court, but maybe he just had to pay money?
Yeah, I didn't think that there were any criminal proceedings. So
I don't think there was either, but right, it's all libel, right? This isn't criminal, it's all libel.
He just failed to prove that he hit her, but
he tried to sue the newspaper because they put Johnny Depp wife beater on the front of their newspaper, and he went in on them to try and like fight them for that title, saying it was slanderous, right? And then he's lost that battle. He tried to sue them for $5 million.
But just to clear this up, he's not facing any jail time. So just for the audience out there, he's not facing any jail time. But the question is, should he be losing jobs of a crime he actually hasn't been convicted of?
Well, so this is what the movie theaters, the movie production company have said, we don't want you to play this character, so he's had to step down. Now, that role was worth $20 million to him. And not only that, he's the face of a Dior fragrance called Sauvage. That's worth $5 million a year. Dior have also said they do not wish for him to be the face anymore. So, I mean, earlier this week, I said to you guys, I was like, Johnny Depp's worth $200 million. He's fine. If he loses against Amber, it's not going to affect his career. But quite clearly, after losing this case, the libel case in the UK, for the magazine, just to be extremely clear, the newspaper, now other brands that pay him are stepping up saying, we don't want you to be a part of this anymore.
So I know we got to move on, but Al, is there a path for redemption now as Johnny Depp? Who's the next big studio that's going to take a chance on him? He's a blockbuster, right? But do they want that label along with it?
And that's the thing, Jeff. I don't know. Maybe if this is Johnny Depp right after Pirates of the Caribbean, I don't think we're discussing this. I think that they come for you when you're a little bit past your prime. And there's some young Johnny Depp that's 20 instead of, what is he, 45, 50? And would you rather go after the new young guy, the new young heartthrob? You don't have to pay him you don't have to pay him as much, and he doesn't have as much baggage. Or do you want to go and risk it, have to pay this guy what the market demands, which is $20 million, and face backlash and emails and protests against your campaign or your movie? I think this could be big trouble for Johnny.
Great discussion, though. All right, guys, let's move on. The Bachelorette finally confirmed what we already knew. Claire Crawley has officially left the show. On last night's episode, Dale got down on one knee and proposed, giving Claire, get this, a 4.5 carat diamond ring. That's pretty big, right?
It's huge.
Yeah, huge. Claire only spent a couple weeks on the show, and the two had only gone on one official date. Meantime, Tayshia Adams was introduced as the new Bachelorette, but she will be handing out her roses to, get this, the men left over from Claire. What's that all about? Take a look.
One of my fears is if they were going to be accepting of me.
Full transparency, like I had feelings for Claire.
I really wasn't even sure if I was going to stay.
I don't know about Tayshia.
Some of the guys might view me as a second choice. I never want to feel that way again.
Listen, they could have got a new batch of guys. Am I right or am I wrong?
I think they deserve a chance because obviously they've gone through so many like hoops and auditions and things to get on that show. But are they really that bothered over a woman they literally have met like once or twice? It's not like they're months and months in and they've got genuine feelings for her. I mean, come on, this was at the start of the show.
Let's be honest. Nobody's there to find their mate.
Right.
They're there to find some fame.
Right. Yeah. And I agree with that. But I mean, it's just taking it in the larger context. I always like to look at it as real life, like our viewers. I think we are always somebody's second choice. Somebody was, unless you're with the first person.
No, he's right. Hear him out.
Unless you're with the person that had their locker next to you in the 8th grade and y'all rode it out for the next 65 years, you were with somebody that was broken up by somebody else and they were then single and you were broken up with somebody else and you were single and you guys met. It just means that you found a better choice for yourself. Second choice gets such a bad rap.
Steph, why do you think that's such bad advice? I kind of agree with them. You got to live and learn, get your heart broken, build up some scar tissue, and then you get in there.
Yeah, but that's a bit different to being like a second choice. That makes you sound like you're someone's sloppy second.
It's not. You're adding the word sloppy. It's just second. This is the person I met second. I like them better. You don't go on just one vacation and be like, I'm never going anywhere but Disneyland. You go, oh, I went to Italy. I like it better than the Bahamas. Like, you're allowed to do different things.
Am I the only person that's just like
it's
what?
this, you got sloppy second stuck in your head and now you can't give it an equal breath.
Look, all I care about, I hear what you're saying, all I care about is the fact that she got to keep the ring.
It's Claire now.
But this is the one that's just left. But apparently, I didn't know this. You're only allowed to keep the Neil Lane rings if you stay with that person for 2 years. I tell you what, if I was on The Bachelor and I was like the Bachelorette or whatever, and I won or whatever, and I got that ring, I'd say you better make out you're going to stay with me for 2 years because then afterwards we can sell it. Because some of these rings like $150K. I was like, oh, it must be some like really lame
So you would be
ring.
with somebody you didn't like for 2
I'd be
years
like,
for $150,000?
Yeah, I'd say let's split the money.
She goes, yeah. I looked it up too. How much is a 4.5 carat ring?
It's
it
so
said from
much
40,000
money.
to 450,000.
Yeah.
Depending on the quality of the ring.
Yeah.
450L, you sticking around
That's
for
a
2
lot of
years?
money.
She's going to get that in Instagram advertising. So it's just about your happiness. Stop staying in bad relationships for your happiness. I mean, for your money. It's not worth it.
Sloppy seconds and rings, I don't know.
I like Al's advice. He needs an 800 number. All right. Miley Cyrus says she didn't shed too many tears over her divorce with Liam Hemsworth. The two called it quits last year after 8 months of marriage. The singer recently appeared on a Swedish talk show, and she said instead of crying about her divorce, she decided to just move on. Before you play the clip, Swedish talk show, Miley? Come on Daily Blast Live. It's an American talk show. Now we can roll the clip.
There's a kind of a stigma of coldness for like a woman who actually really moves on. But I just think, you know, I've gone through a lot of kind of trauma of loss in the last couple years. I had a house fire in Malibu where I lost my house. I went through a divorce. Recently, my grandma, who I was super close with, I lost. And again, like, in a way, I didn't spend too much time crying over it, and it wasn't because I was cold or trying to avoid feeling something, but it was just because it wasn't going to change it.
How you guys feel about Miley Cyrus? Are you fans?
I like her.
That wasn't too convincing.
It seems like you have more thoughts.
No, okay, so I don't mind Miley. I'm not like a #1 Miley fan. We all know I'm a big Britney Spears fan or whatever. She's not like my #1. Do I respect her? Yes. Is she incredibly talented? Absolutely. I find her very interesting, actually. But I agree with her on this, you know. Like, I've been in relationships before where I've had my heart literally completely broken. And then it comes to a point where, like, well, you move on. I think once you've experienced that first real, you know, like your real first heartbreak, nothing really compares to that, does it? So then after that, I found it a lot easier to move on and leave.
Oh,
that's
and then have a sloppy second?
That's the Al's point.
I didn't say it. What do you mean? Why does that make me a sloppy?
No, it wouldn't make you a sloppy.
Yeah.
It would make the next person that you meet. You didn't stay with that person. You went out and found somebody else that made you happier. Just going back to the last argument. But I'm saying this about Miley, and this is why I like what she did. And let's have a little bit of honesty on this panel. She got a divorce, and it's not always just. I think sometimes people get in relationships early and they realize this is not working.
Yeah.
And either you can cut the cord or let it drag out until, you know, the tires come flying off 11 years later. When you cut the cord early, you're going to go through your initial sadness,
Grieving.
but then you move on.
Yeah.
Don't we want people to move on? Do you want somebody to be grieving a decade later?
Listen, I think you're right. And we didn't
Grieve
even
for me
touch.
a decade later, please.
We didn't even touch base on the fact that she was a child star, and that goes
Yes.
into some
And
of her
her
psyche
dad was a
as well.
star.
Yeah,
It's
so
like she's
it
got
goes,
a crazy
it goes
life.
a lot deeper, and like you said, just focus on being happy. All right, coming up on DBL, we're chatting it up with former Orange County housewife Heather Dubrows and her husband Terry. From his killer show to her former castmate Kelly Dodd, there's a lot to talk about. Plus, the biggest winter trend. It might make you look a little bigger. I don't want that. But hey, it's style, right, Steph? Mm-hmm. Stephanie has the scoop in Fashion Fix Friday. That's coming up next.
Welcome back to Daily Blast Live. It is great to be back in the studio, and even better when I get to deliver this week's top style and beauty news, which means it's time for Fashion Fix Friday. Hard to believe, but yeah, winter is here. So check out some of the top trends that are going to be invading your social media feeds this chilly season. The puffier, the better when it comes to jackets, that is. All right, always warm, the puff jacket is stepping up its style game with fun colours and bold prints. And speaking of prints, sweater weather has never been so colourful. Swap out your simple sweaters for sweaters that make a statement this year. And finally, skin-tight tops covered with, you guessed it, more crazy prints and trimmings are one of the biggest trends this season. If you see a pattern, then prints are the way to go this winter. Now let's talk shoes. Keep an eye out for a new shoe marching its way into stores. And here is the kicker. I'm talking about clogs. Not only are they everywhere on Instagram, clogs have stomped and strutted their way down runways this season too. And that means that clogs are here to stay, at least for a little while. DBL Nation, are you ready to accept the clog back into your wardrobe? Oh, I hope not. Now it's time for my What the Fashion moment of the week. Kim Kardashian knows how to dress for the occasion, and that includes her 40th birthday celebration on a private island. So the gold dress she wore is stunning, but the price tag has me running because it's estimated to cost $10,000. So similar corsets are going for $9,000 alone, and the mini skirts like the one that she wore are carrying a price tag of $5,000. And those shoes, well, they're walking to the tune of $900. I mean, they say that money can't buy you happiness, but a private island vacation in a $10,000 dress sounds pretty nice to me. That's it for this week's Fashion Fix Friday. DBL will be right back. Welcome back to DBL. The Dubrows are without a doubt a reality TV power couple, and I caught up with them earlier to talk about everything from their new projects to the latest OC housewife drama in today's Chatting with the Stars. Hello, Heather and Dr. Terry Dubrow. Before we get into the new season of License to Kill, I need you, Heather, to weigh in on some of the recent Orange County housewife drama. So, OC housewife Kelly Dodd shared misinformation about COVID and has spoken against the Black Lives Matter movement. So I would need to know, how do you feel about viewers wanting her pulled from the cast?
Of course, I keep in touch with some of the girls, but I don't really follow it that closely. But I would say this: anyone that doesn't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement is, in my opinion, not human and should be canceled.
Thank you for that response, because you're completely correct, and thank you so much for answering that for us. I need to ask you as well, Gloria Estefan recently appeared on Red Table Talk. Her daughter confronted her about being hurt by Gloria's reaction to her coming out. However, your response to your daughter, Max, coming out as bisexual was extremely supportive. So what advice have you got for other parents that are in this position?
For us, we've always been very open with our children, and all we want to do is create healthy, independent, functioning, healthy humans. For all the parents out there, my advice is this: listen more than you speak. Listen to your kids. Don't be reactive, don't judge, and just love them.
Heather Max is also following your footsteps with her podcast, I'll Give It To You Straight-ish. And now your podcast has reached over 100 million downloads. Huge congratulations. I need to know what's drawing the listeners to tune in.
I'm so thrilled that Max is doing her podcast, I'll Give It To You Straight-ish. It was completely her idea, her title, everything, and it's really exciting to watch her. I love doing my show. I've been doing it for 5 years, and the interactions that I have with the community has been so helpful to me, and hopefully I'm giving something back to them.
Now, Dr. Dubrows, season 2 of License to Kill is going to be a little bit different from the first season. So can you explain how it's going to be different and tell us all why we should be checking it out?
Season 1 was really more about doctors and healthcare providers that went off the deep end and became serial killers. What's really interesting about season 2 is that a lot of times when there's a crime committed, everyone knows there's been a crime, right? But when a doctor or a nurse or healthcare provider uses their skills that a layperson really doesn't appreciate or understand or have access to, you don't necessarily even know a crime's been committed. So it's really a mystery unfolding this season.
I love it. It's very exciting. I can't wait to watch. Wait, before we go as well, I want you guys to share how you've been helping Native communities survive during the ongoing pandemic.
They don't have access to even necessarily running water. And all about mask wearing, washing hands, social distancing, those things we take for granted that we can do easily, they don't necessarily have that. And they don't even have hand sanitizer. So what we've been able to do is send them a non-alcohol based hand sanitizer and make a very significant contribution to their ability to decrease the viral load that they may be exposed to. And if they can do that, they can decrease the chance that they will be contaminated, exposed, and get COVID and spend any time in the hospital. So we're really grateful we've had the opportunity to contribute to them keeping safe and protected.
Heather and Dr. Dubrows, thank you for joining us. DBL Nation, you guys can check out season 2 of License to Kill on Oxygen, and we'll be right back after this.
Thanks so much.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. If you have travel plans this holiday season, don't forget each state has different COVID-19 protocols in place. We're chatting about them in today's DBL Drive, sponsored by CarShield. Many states are still requiring you to self-quarantine for 14 days before visiting or leaving, like Illinois, my hometown, Kentucky, and New Mexico. And get this, in Kansas, they won't let you in if you've been to North Dakota recently. You need to quarantine for 2 weeks, but in New York, they recently announced that out-of-state travelers can actually opt out of the mandatory quarantine if they report a negative COVID test before visiting and once arriving. When it comes to traveling for peace of mind, get an auto protection plan with CarShield. CarShield protects their members from the high cost of auto repairs. Call 1-800-505-9619 for a free quote. Very interesting on how they even monitor things like that. Like you have to quarantine for 2 weeks. If I wanted to go home for the holidays, would I have to do that?
I think that there should be something spelled out, Jeff, because I think a lot of the things you're saying, Steph, I know you have people you love as well. Like, what do you do? Do you land in quarantine? Do you quarantine, then fly, and then you're good? Do you get a positive COVID, negative COVID test?
Right.
And then I think your questions are valid, and it's just kind of murky language. I'm glad we're trying something, but I think I'm like you, Jeff. I'm not sure.
Listen, I'm glad we're keeping an eye on COVID. Is still a very real thing.
Yes.
I know we have a lot going on in America, but we still need to realize that. Have a good weekend, everybody. DBL's new every day. We'll see you Monday, same time, same place.